The Spotted Horses by Group 20 with Amanda Cavandi,
Mariah Hernandez,
and Venetia Bradshaw. About the author, William Faulkner. William Faulkner was born September 25, 1897, in Albany, New York. Faulkner was the oldest of 4 sons. He was named after his great-grandfather, who commanded a Confederate regiment in the Civil War. His grandfather also built railroads and wrote novels, too. Like his great-grandfather, Faulkner also wanted to write novels. Faulkner's style is known for his vivid imagination and innovative use of language. Faulkner won the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature in 1950 and 1955. He also won the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award for his novel, A Fable, in 1954. Faulkner became so passionate about the human condition and created his own foundation from the money he won from the Nobel Peace Prize to help African American students with educational scholarships and Latino writers. Faulkner died of a heart attack on July 6, 1962. Faulkner's writing style. Faulkner is considered to be a lurid local writer, which means his stories are violent because they contain lynchings, bestiality, and murders. His writing style usually represents a creation of fictional worlds and has the characters reappear in his novels. Faulkner likes to write about two-dimensional evils in his stories as well. He put emphasis on the psychological realism of individual portraits and the conflict between the dynamics of father and son. He also writes about the struggle between right and wrong, which are two sides that are related to each other and left with an uncertain future at the end. Faulkner's prose is known for his complexity and his how he disregards the ordinary constraints of syntax. His writing style has been called Faulknerian because it consists of lengthy sentences and fragmentation.
Background on Spotted Horses. Spotted Horses is a comic tall tale and is the last installment of the Snopes family trilogy. The story is written in 1931. This novel was written during the Great Depression, which reflects on the financial desperation of the characters. The story was influenced by the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl occurring at the time of publication. The trilogy consists of the rise and downfall of the Snopes family. Specifically, this novel is the first portrayal of the Snopes family about Flint's trickery of his community. A major theme that Faulkner emphasizes in this novella is how the horses in the story represent the chaotic world of the novella. The story is divided into 6 parts. Summary of the Spotted Horses. The novel is about a con man named Flem who works with a Texas man that sell horses. Flem and the Texas man are in the business of conning people into buying unbroken horses. These are often seen as demonic in folklore. They meet a man named Henry Armstead who is interested in buying a horse. To their advantage, he falls for their scheme. This story is narrated by an unseen narrator, V.K. Radcliffe. Although he admires Snopes' manipulation skills for personal gain, he opposes everything that Snopes stands for. In a quote pulled from the story, "I'd be dog if he ain't. If I had brung herd of wild cows, into town and sold them to my neighbors and kinfolk, they would have lynched me. Yes, sir." And that was found on page 2021. Our new perspective. We chose to do a perspective from Henry because it showcases the effects on Snopes' scamming ways. One perspective of his personality is to find people who are easy to manipulate, making Henry a perfect target for a scheme. Henry wanted to be better more than he was, to be more financially stable than he actually appeared. He was overcompensating for financial irresponsibility. He wanted to be in control of everything, which included his money, family, and the unbroken horse. However, he really does not have control over any of these aspects of his life. His wife earns the money. Therefore, this creates an regulatory relationship between a husband and wife, where the husband typically earns all of the money. compared to Eck, he is not as financially responsible. Henry is often overlooked, so this desire to gain a better representation. So his desire to gain a better reputation than what he currently has blinds his ego to the reality of everything around him, which is why he does not see the negative effects of spending the last $5 his wife has earned on bidding on the horse.
The character perspective of Henry Armstrong. We chose to tell the story from the perspective of Henry Armstrong. Henry was fascinated by the horse, but was discouraged by his wife to buy the horse, especially since he was spending her last earnings, which was their last $5. Since the horse was unbroken, he was unable to get the horse in his possession. Soon after this, Henry becomes angry with Mrs. Armstrong. He demanded his wife to corner the horse, but she let the horse out. They were able to recapture the horse, but she let the horse out again. This is when Henry starts abusing his wife with the rope. Henry hits his wife 3 times before the Texas man interferes, making Henry stop beating his wife and offers a refund. But Henry's ego refuses to accept the refund. Henry still has his mind set on capturing the horse. Irony. The presence of irony is found where Mrs. Armstrong said to the Texas man, "If you take that $5 I earned my chaps a-weaving for one of them things, it'll be a curse unto you and yourn during all the time of man." Instead of the money cursing the Texas man, it cursed the Armstrong family. For example, the $5 was never returned to her as promised by the Texas man. Mr. Armstrong broke his leg, and throughout all of this series of unfortunate events, Mr. Armstrong never received the horse. Conclusion. So, in conclusion, what is the relevance of the horses in this story? In Spotted Horses, the horses represent elements of greed, deception, and the unraveling of the character's morals.
7-9.